Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of BTTH Rebirth of Emperor Yang episode number 204 based on novel. So let's start. The thunder channel is very long, and the terrible thunder among them makes most people cry out and collapse. However, with Xiao Yan's speed of chasing the stars and the moon, this distance only took about half an hour. Soon, all the thunder in front dissipated, and a hall appeared in front of Xiao Yan. Out of the thunder channel, Xiao Yan's figure gradually decreased, and then the soles of his feet stepped on the ground. In front of the hall is a square with a large area. At this time, many forces have gathered in the square, including the three main doors and Qin Yun. The appearance of Xiao Yan immediately aroused the idea of everyone in the square. There had been previous events. Now, these people remember Xiao Yan's name. When they see the latter, many people have a particularly fearful look on their faces. Seeing Xiao Yan catching up so quickly, Chen Zhen's eyes could not help but coagulate slightly. Looking at Xiao Yan's refreshing appearance, it seemed that the latter was not affected in the thunder channel. On the other hand, although there was no accident, the fighting spirit in his body was consumed, which also led to a slight fluctuation in their breath, which is as smooth and long as Xiao Yan. On the other side, Qin Yun and his party also turned their bad eyes on Xiao Yan. They paused on the latter, and then turned to the hall in front of them. For those eyes, Xiao Yan ignored them. As soon as he set foot on the square, he fell directly on the hall in front of the crowd. The main hall is very magnificent. Up to the dome, it is connected with stone walls, and it is impossible to fly through. Below, an extremely heavy stone gate blocks the way of the people present. On both sides of the stone gate, there are a huge stone column. On top of it, there are actually two huge thunder dragons. Different from the thunder in the previous channel, the two thunder dragons are more powerful and huge. The blue body is wrapped with thunder, and the power released from it is even more impressive. The arrival of Xiao Yan and others has awakened the two thunder dragons who have been sleeping for nearly 1,000 years from their long sleep. Looking at the two thunder dragons, Xiao Yan couldn't help showing a strange look on his face. His heart was thinking about whether his North King could swallow and absorb the two thunder dragons. If so, the strength of the North King will be raised to a new level again. At that time, once the mysterious black-robed man in Qin Yun's team, he may be able to grasp it. The awakening of the two thunder dragons made many people present dignified. I'm afraid the strength of these two animals is not lower than that of Chen Zhen and others, and can be comparable to the powerful thunder of the 9-star fighting emperor. Even if they are placed in the whole western region, few people can match them. It can be imagined that they were only used to guard the door in the Zhu ancient tomb on this day. What a danger it would be in the depths of this ancient tomb. Of course, although everyone knows this very well, they know better that danger and opportunity often coexist. As long as they can survive these dangers, their harvest will be particularly gratifying. It seems that the thunder outside is just a small test. Here is the real entrance to the ancient tomb. At the front of the crowd, the ancestors of several great forces raised their turbid eyes and looked at the two thunder dragons in front of them. They swept their eyes on the magnificent hall and couldn't help sighing. Hey! There is an array prohibition on the stone gate. It seems that Master Zhu didn't just rely on fighting spirit at the beginning. It seems that his attainments in array are not low. Chen Zhen glanced at the stone gate in front of him and noticed the familiar power contained in it. Then he found this. Oh, array? Hey, Chen Array, you know the array best among us. You can be said to have a good understanding. Why don't you try and see if you can open this array? Wu Zetian smiled and hit Chen Array. He knew that the strength of the two thunder dragons in front of him was not lower than him, even better than him and Chen Array. If they attacked hard, they would only bring endless trouble to each other. He didn't want to waste his strength in vain before he really entered the ancient tomb. Wu Zetian, although it sounds good, you look down on me too much. I'm just a 4th-order array mage, but the seal array on the stone gate has at least 5 levels. I can't untie it at all. If I break it forcibly, I'm afraid it will only destroy the array. Once some unknown forces are triggered and the ancient tomb collapses, we will all be buried here. Although the words were plain and ordinary, They could be heard in the ears of everyone on the court, but their hearts trembled slightly. Even the man in black beside Qin Yun was no exception. What should I do? I can't wait that long. Wu Zetian tilted his lips with hatred, and growled impatiently. Chen Zhen shook his head helplessly, raised his eyes, looked at the two thunder dragons in front of him, and said helplessly. From the perspective of this array, it should be connected with these two thunder dragons. In other words, these two thunder dragons are likely to be the key to crack the array. In other words, the only way to open this stone gate is to defeat these two thunder dragons. As soon as Chen Zhen said this, the muscles on Wu Zetian's face suddenly twitched. At the same time, a whisper came from the surrounding crowd. Xiao Yang in the back is standing quietly. If it's not necessary, he doesn't want to make this attempt now. Instead of being eager to make a move, he might as well take a look at the situation on the field first. If someone can make a move to solve it, it will also save him some strength. After a short moment, an old man in a grey robe slowly walked out of the crowd and came to the front of the crowd. With the old man's steps, a strong breath also spread outward from his body. The quasi-9-star Do Emperor is even inferior to Chen Array and Wu Zetian, but he can be regarded as one of the few strong men in the field at the moment. Xiao Yang had never seen the old man, but he didn't take it to heart. The western regions are vast, and there are not a few people who hide dragons and crouch tigers. In fact, the power of some low-key forces is not as simple as it seems on the surface. This can be seen from the so-called 4 major gates in the western regions. Surrounded by many eyes, the old man walked out slowly, his vast momentum was released, and his powerful fighting spirit was like a long snake around him. Soon, the old man's body came between the 2 stone pillars. At the same time, the 2 awakened thunder dragons and 2 pairs of huge eyes stared at the old man. Hiss! Suddenly, before the grey-robed old man stepped forward again and fell, the 2 thunder dragons started together, and their bodies twisted. 2 sharp claws attacked the old man from the left and right sides respectively. The powerful force easily tore up the void, but in the twinkling of an eye, they had fallen on both sides of the old man's body. Give it back. Seeing this, the old man was in no hurry and turned his body calmly. At the same time, strong fighting spirit gushed out of his body. His arms were raised and his left and right palms were slapped. Under the support of strong fighting spirit, he easily resisted the attack of the 2 thunder dragons. Then, the old man's arms suddenly shook, and his powerful power suddenly broke out. Unexpectedly, he forcibly retreated the claws of the 2 thunder dragons. It's just 2 arrays condensed, beast. I also want to stop me. The old man immediately laughed when he struck back the 2 raptors with one palm. When the fighting spirit surged, he jumped up and flew into the air. The powerful fighting spirit kept shooting out, suppressing the 2 raptors for a short time. Looking at the field like a unilateral rolling battle, the people below are non-committal. However, at the beginning, the old man had used his fighting spirit to suppress the 2 thunder dragons, but on the contrary, the 2 thunder dragons had not really used their strength except relying on their brute force alone. Under the old man's attack, the 2 thunder dragons seemed to have no direct fight back, but once the thunder dragons really shot, the old man was afraid that he would be unable to resist. He's going to lose. Chen Zhen looked at the seemingly fierce battle on the field, but he sighed faintly. Then the next moment, on the body surface of the 2 thunder dragons, the dazzling blue thunder flared up, and the terrible thunder splashed everywhere, which immediately defeated the attack of the grey-robed old man. Then, the remaining strength bombarded the old man's body and flew it out in one fell swoop. Then, in the surprised eyes of everyone in the audience, Chen Zhen and Wu Zetian looked at each other, and immediately nodded heavily. When their eyes turned, their toes touched the ground, and their bodies suddenly swept forward. Then, they fought with the 2 thunder dragons. Boom! The sound of fierce fighting and explosion spread over the square. The thunder was fierce and the fighting was fierce. The people below were dazzled and amazed. The battle on the field lasted for a long time. Under the eyes of the people, the 2 thunder dragons also gradually fell into the disadvantage and looked like they were about to lose. However, at this time, the 2 stone pillars occupied by the thunder dragon suddenly sparked a bright blue light. Then, in the dignified eyes of Chen Array and Wu Zetian, the two thunder dragons occupied each other, and finally merged into a blue dragon. The battle continued. However, this time, Chen Zhan and Wu Jitian fell into the disadvantage. After a while, they were also repulsed by the blue dragon. Chen Array and Wu Jitian also declared defeat. Damn it, I didn't expect this beast to merge. This beast, if you can't fight, it depends on integration. It's a heresy. If it's not so, I'll blow you to pieces. On the ground, Chen Zhan and Wu Jitian looked coldly at the integrated dragon in front of them. The latter's face was unwilling. If the two dragons did not take the opportunity to integrate, he would have the opportunity to solve it. After all, it's just an array. In terms of combat experience, it's far from being compared with real living people. Although they are powerful, if they really want to compare, Chen Array and Chen Array also have a certain winning rate. However, the appearance of the green dragon overturned the outcome in an instant. The fusion of the two thunder dragons makes the strength of the green dragon more powerful. At the moment, the strength of the green dragon is afraid to be comparable to the strong one in the middle of the 9-star Fight Emperor. Such strength is not absent among the people present, but they are all waiting for each other. They're waiting because someone can't help it. Since no one has made a move, let me have a try. Behind the crowd, Xiao Yan smiled and touched the ground with his toes. Soon, his body was like a rock flying over the heads of the people in the field. His feet fell steadily in the front of the crowd. His eyes raised and directed at the blue thunder dragon in front of him. Roar. Suddenly, the low roar of the beast came out of the mouth of the thunder dragon, causing circles of invisible space ripples in the invisible void. After death, looking at Xiao Yang who suddenly stood up in front of them, the people couldn't help but be slightly stunned, especially those who had a festival with Xiao Yang. Their eyebrows could not help but wrinkle slightly. Based on their understanding of the former, this guy is very smart. How could he take the initiative? However, looking at this in front of them, they can't think of why. In front of him, Xiao Yang smiled at the corners of his mouth. He immediately moved and stood in front of the dragon. His eyes glanced up and down at the thunder dragon in front of him. Xiao Yang's eyes couldn't help but burst into a look of expectation. Then, the thunder dragon in front of him did not hesitate. His huge body suddenly twisted, and the huge dragon tail swept across and blasted at Xiao Yang. Seeing this, Xiao Yang's eyes suddenly narrowed, his body moved, and Tianjue's step was displayed in an instant. At the same time, with a flick of his fingers, Bei Wang's body immediately appeared in front of him, and his body rushed up to the huge dragon tail without avoiding. Bang! In a dull bang, the North King actually held the thick dragon tail in his arms, and the terrible force broke out. There was a dragon tail 2 or 3 times as thick as the North King, so it was severely strangled in the latter's arms from front to back. The painful roar of the beast immediately came from the mouth of the green dragon. Roar. Accompanied by the roar of the beast, there was a huge force of thunder, which bombarded the North King's body from top to bottom. But then, the people present clearly saw that the powerful force of thunder immediately poured out a strange suction in the latter's body when they approached the North King. He was swallowed up by the North King. This is his puppet. At the next moment, Qin Yun and his entourage, who knew about Bei Wang, suddenly changed their faces. Although others didn't know it, they knew very well that Xiao Yang's puppet had an inexplicable suppression effect on the power of thunder. In other people's eyes, the extremely dangerous and domineering thunder was not dangerous to Bei Wang, but would help him grow. Stop him. Don't let the puppet devour the thunder dragon. At this moment, Qin Yun and his group finally understood the reason why Xiao Yang came out. Immediately, they couldn't help but scream. The 3 Yang he behind them bore the brunt and rushed away at Xiao Yang. Then, this was the other 9-star fighting emperor. As for the man in black beside Qin Yun, they never left Qin Yun half a step from beginning to end, it's like deliberately protecting the latter. On the other hand, at this time, a terrible suction constantly surged out of the North King's body, but for a moment, the dragon tail originally held in his arms disappeared into the North King's body. At the moment, the North King is swallowing the Thunder Dragon at a speed visible to the naked eye. In this regard, the Thunder Dragon was ignorant and was still bombarding the North King's body with thunder. However, All the thunder bombardments were swallowed into the body and absorbed by the North King after rapid refining. At the same time, the strength of Beiwang is also growing rapidly at an extremely fast speed. At this time, Yang He and the other man in black also set out together. They came to the rear of the North King and wanted to fight. However, just as they were about to do it, a dark shadow suddenly flashed out in front of them. It's Xiao Yang. Hehe, it's a good idea for you to beat my puppet instead of my master. Xiao Yang smiled coldly, and the smile from the corners of his mouth was full of ridicule. Xiao Yang, can't you wait to die? Yang Heleng drank. While his body trembled, powerful fighting energy swept out of his body, bringing bursts of wind pressure. Drink. The other three people around the body also gave a low cry and shook their bodies. They released their fighting spirit and oppressed Xiao Yang together. Power image resolution, Kai. The heart and hair burst into a violent drink, and the huge strength in Xiao Yang's body immediately gathered. The virtual shadow behind him was integrated into Xiao Yang's body at the moment of rising, making Xiao Yang's own strength more powerful. At the same time, the fighting spirit in the cyclone also circulated rapidly, and the huge fighting spirit quickly attacked all over his body. Hiss. Yang He bears the brunt. His body shape has come to Xiao Yang in the twinkling of an eye. He turns his body around and kicks away at Xiao Yang's chest. The strong wind of hunting roared in front of him. Xiao Yang's face was flat, and the huge soul power poured out. All the actions of the people in front of him became slow under the cover of the soul power. Then, Xiao Yang turned his body, stood on his side, grabbed the latter's ankle and threw it out. However, without waiting for Xiao Yang to have any chance to breathe, the figure in the void in front of him flashed again and shot angrily, facing Xiao Yang's throat. The steps changed, and the Tianjue step was followed. The fighting spirit was dangerous and dangerous, flying past Xiao Yang's body. Then, Xiao Yang suddenly clenched his right hand, and his powerful power gathered on his fist. With one punch, a 9-star fighting emperor rushed in front of him withdrew. Damn it, this boy is so terrible physical strength. The black-robed man's face changed slightly, and he couldn't help scolding. The palm just hit by Xiao Yang's fist was trembling under his sleeve robe at the moment. In the face of Xiao Yang's powerful physical strength, even though he was the 9-star fighting emperor, he was also defeated without preparation. Under the siege of the 4 people, Xiao Yang looked dignified and faced the 4 9-star fighting emperors at the same time, which really made him feel powerless. At first, he was able to resist 1 or 2 by relying on his strength. But gradually, with the continuous consumption of physical strength, some disadvantages gradually showed up. The physical strength had gradually failed to keep up with the 4 fighting emperors in front of him, but they are still attacking. During this period, several times they want to prevent the North King from swallowing Lei Long, but they are also forcibly stopped by Xiao Yang. With Tianjue step, even if Xiao Yang can't defeat the 4 people in front of him, he also has the assurance of preserving himself. In this high-intensity battle, Xiao Yang's strength is consumed very quickly, but at the same time, the latter's combat experience is also more and more vigorous. Imagine that Xiao Yang can be safe under the siege of the 4 9-star duty. If he faces the 9-star duty again in the future, wouldn't he be able to deal with it easily? As for Chen Zhan and others, although they want to kill Xiao Yang in their hearts, they can only take back their thoughts when they think of the Thunder Punishment Oath. They only hate Xiao Yang's deceit and limit their actions with the Thunder Punishment Oath. Damn it, this boy is in great trouble. He can't drag him down anymore. Do it first and destroy Lei Long. The black-robed man scolded with hatred. His body moved and quickly passed Xiao Yang. At this time, the latter was being delayed by Yang He and wanted to take the opportunity to destroy the Thunder Dragon that was about to be swallowed up by the North King. However, at the next moment, when the black-robed man came to the North King, who had no action, suddenly turned around and pressed the only faucet from his chest into his body. Almost at the same time, he hit the black-robed man's chest with his fists together with the power of terrible thunder. Bang! In an instant, a powerful force called terror suddenly spewed out from the North King's fists, mixed with the extremely powerful and violent force of thunder. With the power of destroying the withered and decadent, It instantly destroyed the meridians and internal organs in the black-robed human body. Just for a moment, it made the latter fall into a state of serious injury. Puff! The face under the black robe suddenly turned white, and a big mouthful of blood couldn't help gushing out of his mouth. Then, it was destroyed into nothingness by the thunder lingering on the North King's body. Bang! With a dull explosion in the black-robed man's body, the latter's body immediately flew backward uncontrollably. Immediately, it hit the stone gate of the hall heavily, and the powerful force and thunder poured outward. The heavy stone gate opened with a loud noise. For a moment, the two battle circles quieted down at the same time. At this moment, the crowd below turned their shocked eyes to the purple and gold figure glittering with thunder in the air. At the front of the crowd, the faces of Chen Array and Qin Yun became iron blue at this moment. The North King blew the 9-star fighting emperor seriously, and the powerful deterrent shocked all the people present. At this moment, the faces of Chen Zhen and Qin Yun, who had a grudge against Xiao Yang, became particularly gloomy. Qin Yun, in particular, was severely injured by the North King just now, but his subordinates, but from now on, the guy will not have the chance to enter the ancient tomb this time. It takes a long time for a seriously injured 9-star fighting emperor to recover from his injury alone. The environment in the ancient tomb is particularly dangerous. Coupled with other forces, the seriously injured body will become a drag on them sooner or later. Moreover, even if Qin Yun agrees to continue to take him, the family next to him will never agree. But now, the most dignified thing for Qin Yun is the North King after swallowing Lei Long. From the attack just now, the strength of the North King may be comparable to that of the middle period of the 9-star fighting emperor. With Xiao Yang, it is enough to shake any force present. With this in mind, Qin Yun's face became more iron blue. He didn't expect that Xiao Yang's combat power would soar to such a level after only half a year. If he couldn't kill him during the trip to the ancient tomb, Xiao Yang would be a big trouble in the near future. The stronger the power Xiao Yang has, the greater the threat to them. From birth to now, Xiao Yang is the first person who can make Qin Yun feel so threatened. At the moment, Xiao Yang was also twinkling. In the blink of an eye, he had stood on the same side as Bei Wang. His eyes swept through the crowd below. After seeing the iron-green face of Qin Yun and others, he couldn't help laughing. Immediately, his eyes fell on Bei Wang again. After swallowing the Thunder Dragon, the North King's combat power has increased significantly. Although it has reached the middle of the 9-star fighting emperor, the thunder power in his body has obviously not been fully absorbed and refined. Previously, most of the huge thunder power contained in the Thunder Channel and the Thunder Dragon is still uncontrollable. However, Xiao Yang believes that with the special physique of Bei Wang, as long as it is not too long, he will be able to refine all these thunder power. At that time, the strength of Bei Wang will be improved again. With this in mind, Xiao Yang couldn't help showing a satisfied smile. From now on, he won't lose on his trip to Tianjue ancient tomb. Not only is his own strength stable in the middle of the 6-star fighting emperor, but also the strength of the North King is stepping on the 9-star fighting emperor. With such a combination, Xiao Yang believes that as long as he does not encounter a strong source environment, he is confident that he can ensure his own safety. With a move in his mind, he collected the North King into the ring. Then Xiao Yang looked up at the open door in front of him. From behind the stone gate, Xiao Yang can see some buildings, but now they haven't stepped in, but they can't really see them. Tiptoe Light Point Void, Xiao Yang's body shape did not hesitate, directly rushed into the hall door. As the first person in the western regions, Master Tianjue doesn't worry about the hidden dangers in his ancient tomb, just like the Thunder Channel and the Thunder Dragon. Whenever there is any mechanism, the latter is completely in front of them. This is the self-esteem of a strong man. They don't bother to use it like that kind of indiscriminate means. With Xiao Yang's entry, the following people also swarmed in, as if they were afraid that Xiao Yang would wash the baby inside. Chen Zhen and others also looked at each other. Then they moved and entered the hall in front of them. When the people passed through the temple door, everything in front of them gradually became clear. Looking at the scene in front of us with eyes full of shock, everyone's face was stunned. Even the people of the major forces could not help but marvel for a while. At the front of the crowd, Xiao Yang raised her eyes and looked at the vast buildings in front of her. She was also shocked by it. At the moment, what appears in front of everyone is a vast underground city that can't see the edge at a glance. The boundless buildings extend to the end of the line of sight, and each building is displayed in a different attitude. Although it has experienced nearly 1,000 years of history, this building has not become rotten due to the erosion of time. On the contrary, it looks ancient and long, frightening. These magnificent buildings can be called peerless. Looking at the world, even no city can compare with them. As for those people who poured into here, they spread out in a hurry. After scanning around with greedy eyes, they rushed into the buildings and couldn't wait to search for the treasures in the ancient tombs. Looking at the crowd, Xiao Yang sighed and shook his head. He couldn't help feeling sorry for the ancient city. Immediately after that, Xiao Yang immediately recognized the road and looked straight ahead. There, in the center of the whole city, there was a straight and wide street, which seemed to guide them. Seeing this, without any hesitation, Xiao Yang flew forward rapidly along the street, hoping to cross the city in the shortest time. This time, Xiao Yang's purpose is very clear. As long as he gets the power of the source of the soul left by Master Qianjue and another part of the formula of returning to the source, as for his cultivation inheritance, Xiao Yang is also excited, but he also knows that there are not a few strong people coming in this ancient tomb trip. Once they see the cultivation inheritance of Master Qianjue, there must be a big fight. In that case, even Xiao Yang had to retreat. Therefore, instead, it is the power of the source of the soul and the formula of returning to the source. At the same time, it is also the most attractive to Xiao Yang. After all, these two are the key to Xiao Shen's resurrection. Even without those fighting spirit inheritance, Xiao Yang must get the power of the source of the soul and the formula of returning to the source. Seeing Xiao Yang's impatient appearance, Chen Zhen, Wu Jitian and others also frowned slightly. Immediately, they moved and hurried to catch up with the strong men of their own sect. Later, Yi Luotian passed through the stone gate slowly. When he entered here, the man in black beside Qin Yun looked at him silently. At the same time, Yi Luotian's sleeve robe inspired strangely, but it didn't bother anyone around. Then, more than a dozen people in long robes couldn't see their faces, just follow up and enter the stone gate. What about this guy? At this time, Qin Yun is paying attention to the seriously injured 9-star fighting emperor. At this time, the latter has been in a coma, and his breath has been reduced to the extreme. If he doesn't treat it, he may die at any time. Oh, this guy. What's the use of dying people? But he is me after all. Hiss. Hearing the hoarse voice of the man in black robe, Qin Yun frowned, and the words in his mouth had not yet fallen. The man in black robe waved his big sleeve, and a strange suction burst out under his sleeve robe. Then, he saw the body of the seriously injured 9-star fighting emperor shaking uncontrollably, and then a slightly illusory figure flew under his sleeve robe. There was no movement in the twinkling of an eye. You. Don't panic, young lord. It's just a waste. I just took him for you. In addition, although you will lose a 9-star fighting emperor, at the same time, you will gain more powerful power. Qin Yun's face was livid. He was just about to speak, but he was stopped by the strange smile of the man in black. What do you mean? Qin Yun frowned. Even he couldn't afford to lose a 9-star fighting emperor. This guy dared to speak sarcastic here. If he wasn't afraid of the latter's strength, he would have been unable to bear it. It's not the time yet. You'll know soon. But before that, we'd better keep up with those guys. Otherwise, once we lose them, it's very bad for us. Hearing the speech, Qin Yun was slightly stunned and turned his eyes, but he saw that Chen Zhen and his gang were about to disappear at the end of his sight. Then he cut his eyes at the man in black robe, gave a cold hum in his nose, threw his sleeve robe fiercely, and hurriedly chased up with the 3 Yang He behind him. After that, the man in black looked at Qin Yun's back. A strange smile appeared on the face covered by the mask under the black robe. Then he started and followed up. And just after the black-robed man kept up a few steps, outside the stone gate, 2 figures in black robes slowly stepped in. The 2 eyes under the black robe stared at the back of the black-robed man, and the fine light in the depths of the eyes flickered. With the continuous influx of people, in a small team, An old man in white robes is following behind a handsome young man in white robes. The dress of the people following behind them is almost the same. If you look carefully, you can find that a prototype family emblem is painted on their chest. The design on the clan emblem looks like a bird spreading its wings and taking off, showing its domineering spirit. At the moment, this group of people are stepping into here a little faster, looking around like searching for something. Little Lord, Xiao Yan doesn't seem to stay here. Beside the young man, the white-robed old man's turbid eyes swept the huge city in front of him. While the color of surprise in his eyes flashed by, he didn't see the figure of Xiao Yan who had gone away. At present, he frowned and reported to the young man. "Don't stop. Go straight into the main hall. He must be there." Hearing the speech, the young man's eyes suddenly narrowed. A pair of sky-blue eyes flashed over the cold dawn, and immediately his body moved. Several people behind him paced the sky with him, and flew away rapidly towards the depths of the ancient tomb along the straight street in front of him. This video will end here.